Bring it back, and when you're ready, pow! Right in the kisser! Welcome to the show, everybody. The New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles face off before the Week 9 bye, and the Philadelphia Eagles feel like this is the game to exact revenge on the Giants after getting belt to ass a couple weeks ago, and it was a bad ass whooping, let me tell you. Hurt so bad that my back is killing me. That's how bad it was, and I don't even play for the damn team. It was an absolute bludgeoning that we got in that game. 34-17 was the score, if we don't remember. That was also the game afterwards where people were questioning whether or not Jalen Hurts should be quarterback, whether or not we should bench him, and now he's the savior of the world after having a perfect passer rating, all that shit. This is a game, though, that the Philadelphia Eagles now look on their calendar and they say, you know what, now we're going to hyper-focus here. After that wake-up call against the Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles have this game circled. And they're saying, never again will we get fooled by Jaxson Dart, Cam Skattebo, and company. Now, I do like what they're doing in New York. Let's just be objective here as Eagle fans. You have to like what they're doing in the New York Giants land. They got a good front seven over there. And by good, I mean really damn good. Do you realize Brian Burns has 9 sacks on the year? 9 sacks on the NFL season Brian Burns has got. What a hell of a football player he is. Obviously, Abdul Carter looks special. Kevin Thibodeau, we know he can play. Sexy Dexy, I mean, probably the best defensive tackle in all of football outside of Chris Jones. Yes, that includes Jalen Carter. I am an objective fan. Sexy Dexy is better than Jalen Carter, and it's not even a question in my mind. So, you know this front seven is really good. This defensive line is really good. High pedigree guys. And obviously, Brian Burns is there too. This game is going to come down to who's going to win at the line of scrimmage, because that's what happened last game, and the New York Giants dominated the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. We could not run on them, and they ran all over us. And when you have a guy like Cam Skattebo and you have Jaxson Dart who's got wheels, and you got a front like New York Giants have, they have an oddly unique skill set against the Philadelphia Eagles at this point in time. The Vikings last week were not necessarily the team that could match up with Philadelphia, albeit it was a one-possession game throughout for the most part. It was a game that you looked at and you said, Philadelphia is in complete control of this game. The New York Giants can present some problems for the Philadelphia Eagles, particularly on the defensive line. That defensive line for the New York Giants is no joke, and we should not sleep on this football team. They have juice. They got swagger. They have belief. They have a coach who can play call, and Brian Dable, say what you want about him. Might be a knucklehead as a head coach, but for damn sure he can call a game. And you got a group of guys who have nothing left to lose on this NFL season. And usually those are the types of teams. Teams that have nothing to lose. Teams that have no business being in the field, being in the ballpark with Philadelphia are the teams that give us the most fits. So this is going to be a really, really close one. A game that we're going to have to keep an eye on, and a game that Philadelphia, while I don't think is going to take lightly, should not take lightly. And we're going to get into the reasons why, and why I think ultimately Philadelphia is going to win this football game. But before I do that, let's introduce you to the show. This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Asif Body, and like you, I am a Birds fan who talks about the birds, only the birds, and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So please do us a favor here. Help us grow this channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, commenting your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribing to the channel. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a five-star review, because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing to go ahead and hit that big red button that says subscribe. Hit the thumbs up icon. We appreciate your support on the opposite side of the camera and on the opposite side of the airwaves. Forgive me as I try to pull up this game on my phone through FanDuel. Holy crap. They got 7.5 points as the spread. Now, albeit I understand we're in Philadelphia, makes a little bit of a difference. Wow, but plus 7.5 seems high considering the fact that the New York Giants are, one, a division rival, and two, they kicked our teeth in the last time we played them. Vegas is probably thinking, hey, you know what? Philadelphia's got this game circled now. They got their focus. They got their attention. And now Philadelphia is going to come in and try to break the brakes off the New York Giants. Pump the brakes on that one, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to be a game that looks like Minnesota in terms of how fluid the offense is going to look, how excellent Jalen Hurts is going to look. This is going to be a long game. This is going to be a grind out game. This is going to be a game that's going to test your will as a football player for those who are playing in Philadelphia. Because with the interior injuries that we have in our offensive line, Cam Jurgens compromised, Landon Dickerson compromised, it is not out of the realm of comprehension here that the New York Giants will pose problems with this offensive line. Okay? I'm going to pull up the injury report here because, quite frankly, Cam Jurgens didn't participate in practice. Not the best sign, and we already know he's had some problems with injuries throughout the season and hasn't looked the same. Landon Dickerson, limited in practice here. He looked shaky last time he was on the field. Now, he's a great player, and his shaky play is as good as most people's starters, but he is not the same right now. A.J. Brown did not participate. He had a hamstring injury and also had a very ominous tweet, right? Used but not used, some shit like that. So obviously there's something rotten in Denmark, and we're going to be finding it at some point in time. But this injury report is suggesting here that we're going to have a compromised interior offensive line. And we know Tyler Steen isn't Mekhi Becton, so he's going to struggle with Sexy Dexy. Cam Jurgens being hurt, whoever is going to be backing him up, whoever is going to replace him, whether that's Brett Toth, whether it's Landon Dickerson himself, whether it's some other player like Drew Kendall who comes in, is going to have their hands full against Dexter Lawrence. That's just the reality of it. And then obviously because the interior of the line has been compromised, Jordan Mailata has not played his best football this year. While, again, he's been really good, he hasn't been Jordan Mailata. So it's a game where styles make fights here. And this particular game, more so than the Vikings game, because the Vikings, I think, are a better roster than the Giants' strengths, the physicality, the offensive and defensive line. I can't believe I'm saying that. Their run blocking offensive line is actually pretty good. And the defensive line this year, their front seven, it's as good as anybody in the NFL. They're going to pose problems for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if we're going to be able to run the football. I don't know. We have not been able to run the football on any team all year long. And that has been problematic for a team that has made its bread and butter over the past year and a half by running the football. That's why we won the Super Bowl last year in conjunction with the number one defense. And this year, it's one of the reasons why everybody believes the offense is struggling, albeit the play calling has not been necessarily the most stellar, but running game is awful compared to what it was last season. And this offensive passing attack, while it can have spurts like it did last week, it's predicated on building the run. It's predicated on having the running game flow within the offense. It's why we've looked so shaky week to week to week. Last season, we didn't necessarily throw the ball, but when we had to, it was within rhythm. It was a flowing offense because we had the running game. We don't have a running game this year. Offensive passing attack is going to look choppy because Jalen Hurts himself isn't a rhythm quarterback. That's not his strong suit. He makes his bread and butter outside the pocket, on rollouts, off script. Think about all the touchdowns that we had against the Minnesota Vikings. All off script plays for the most part, except that A.J. Brown's seam route that he threw. But most of them, buying time, sitting in the pocket, chucking it deep, moving around, all that stuff, checking at the line. That's Jalen Hurts' superpower. It's also Jaxson Dart's superpower, the ability to extend plays, the ability to use his legs, the ability to buy time for the receivers that are compromised to get open. It's the exact type of quarterback that the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line themselves have had issues with all throughout the Nick Sirianni era. Any quarterback that's been able to buy time, every quarterback that's gotten the ability to move around with his legs, give the Philadelphia Eagles a very, very hard time. Because they're such poor tacklers at this moment right now. When you're a poor tackler and you got a guy you can buy time, it's a recipe for disaster. And Jaxson Dart, not afraid of the moment, a little bit of a knucklehead when he's running the football, but he's not afraid to dig his shoulder into your chest. And that physicality, along with Cam Skattebo, was enough to kick our teeth in the last time. Will it be enough to do the same here? Vegas thinks the 7.5 point spread means Philadelphia is not going to bend the knee to the New York Giants. I don't think they will either. I got the Philadelphia Eagles obviously winning this game. However, I am not taking the points here. 7.5 seems high. It really does. But again, the fact that it's at Lincoln Financial Field, the fact that it's a division rival, and the fact that the Giants already beat the Philadelphia Eagles in an embarrassing fashion, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come out, lock in, and really give it to the New York Giants. But again, I am a small betting man, so I'm just going to pick the money line. I'm not going to take the points here because I don't trust my point. The meters for the point that I have in my brain, I don't trust. I trust my money line pick. I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I think we're going to be able to throw the ball against the New York Giants. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a game where it's deer in headlights for Jalen Hurts. I think once he sees something once, he's usually able to correct it later on. So I think that's what's going to happen here. I think the game plan is going to open up a little bit more. You're going into the bye week. You want to feel good going into this one. So I think they're going to have everything on the table for the Philadelphia Eagles to go ahead and win this football game so that we can go into the bye week at 6-2. And if you're 6-2 in this NFC, you're in a really, really good spot considering every freaking team is really damn good. So this game right here, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very important game for the Philadelphia Eagles because if you are the Philadelphia Eagles and you somehow lose this game to the New York Giants, you are not doing a damn thing for the rest of the year. You will have zero belief from its fans. The Eagles must win this game. This is a must win for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially considering you lost to them just 2 weeks ago on national TV in one of the most embarrassing games I have seen as a fan. Not the easiest matchup. We talked about the front seven. Not the easiest matchup. We talked about Jaxson Dart and his ability to run the ball and Cam Skattebo to bring physicality. And the coaching mismatch right now is going to be whether or not Kevin Patullo can outfox the Giants defensive coordinator in this defensive front. Each week, I have no faith that the offensive coordinator is giving us an edge. I have a feeling the talent will give us the edge in this one. I think everybody on the Eagles looks at the Giants and they say, you know what? You caught us good last time, but we're going to get you back. And we're going to let you know why we're the better team. So, again, I'm not picking the points, although the score prediction that I'm going to give is basically taking the points here. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles win this game 26-21. I think Philadelphia, for the most part, is going to be in the lead majority of the game. But the Giants are going to make this interesting. This defense for the Giants is going to make it interesting. Jaxson Dart makes every game he's in very, very interesting. So, watch out for the New York Giants, Philadelphia. But this is just the game where I think you need to focus and say, you know what? Don't play with our food here. Let's go in there, kick their teeth in at home, and have a feel-good bye week. Because after the bye week, it's a rough stretch of football, and it's going to determine whether or not you truly are Super Bowl contenders for the 2025-2026 NFL season.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles Podcast.